Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn. Today's deck is absolutely bananas. I know I say that a lot, but we started putting this deck together. I thought it was going to be a meme, and it's just a dream. Like, I hate to say it, it's kind of cringy. But we're playing dragons, we're playing Velomachus, we're playing a Reanimator deck, we're using Codie, and somehow it's just absolutely insane. Let's check out the deck tech. But first, make sure to like, subscribe, tell all your friends, do all the things, because we're trying to grow the channel. And if we can hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll do a new deck every single day. So let's make it happen. Let's check out the deck. I cannot believe how good this deck turned out. It seemed like it might be a meme at first, but it's just putting in so much work and going completely over the top. So the core of the deck is Velomachus Lorehold. Now this is the 5/5 flying vigilance haste elder dragon for Lorehold. It's 7 mana. And whenever Velomachus Lorehold attacks, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You can choose an instant or a sorcery from among them that has mana value equal to Velomachus's power, and play it for free. So the idea is to try to not only bring Velomachus back from the dead early and get him onto the field way sooner than he should be, but also to utilize his ability that triggers when he attacks and really try to go over the top with it and take as much advantage of it as we can. So the other card that's at the core of the deck is Burning-Rune Demon. Now, this is a 6/6 flyer for 6 mana. It's a Demon Berserker. When it enters the battlefield, you get to search your library for exactly 2 cards that are not named Burning-Rune Demon. One of them gets put in the graveyard, and one of them goes to your hand, and the opponent gets to choose which goes where. Really cool card. In a Reanimator deck, it's super good because you can find your silver bullet targets, the reanimation spells that might be best against the particular deck you're up against. And a lot of times it doesn't matter which one ends up in your hand or which one ends up going to the graveyard, because you can probably find ways to discard the one in your hand anyway, or at least have an extra card in your hand as extra value later in the game. And if you're finding the right big creatures, it doesn't really matter usually which one goes to the graveyard, and you get to immediately resurrect. Like, it's just a ton of value. 2 cards, one's in the graveyard to bring back, one's in your hand. Just a ton of value with this. Now, how we're taking advantage of both Burning-Rune Demon and Velomachus Lorehold is mainly the 5 mana recursion spells that we find in black. So we've got 4 Unbreakable Bond. This is a sorcery for 5 mana. Brings any creature back from the graveyard with a lifelink counter on it. And the lifelink counter is super clutch because it also protects it against stuff like Heartless Act. So they can't kill it if you use Unbreakable Bond, which is super cool. And that's why we're running a full play set of this. We're also running a full playset of Return Upon the Tide because we get the opportunity to foretell this and then play it on turn 4 for only 4 mana. So it's really easy for this deck to just hit turn 4 reanimation target and go to town, right? We've also got 3 copies of Cauldron's Gift. Now, this is a card which brings a creature back from the graveyard with a +1/+1 counter on it, but it's also got Adamant. So if you want to pay an extra 3 black, you can mill yourself 4 cards and try to find a target for this if you're desperate. So cool little upside there, but still not as good as the other recursion spells. Now, we're trying to take advantage of these recursion spells and Velomachus. Basically, the idea is Velomachus gets brought back from the graveyard, hits the field, you swing with him, and then you reveal the top 7, and you find another recursion spell, and you bring something else back, and it's absolutely nutty. But there's more that we can do than just finding another recursion spell. So we can also find our 4 copies of Draconic Intervention and our 2 copies of Crippling Fear. Now, just having the 6 sweepers is honestly enough in a deck like this, because we're not quite there yet. We'll get to it in just a minute, but this deck draws a ton of cards. It digs through your deck so quick. So even just having the 6 copies of sweepers, you'd be surprised. You get it on rate like really, really consistently. So these are other cards that Velomachus can hit, which is really cool. So if you slam Velomachus, a lot of times you have the opportunity of bringing something else back or playing Draconic Intervention or Crippling Fear. Draconic Intervention lets you exile an instant or a sorcery from your graveyard and do damage equal to that card's converted mana value to the entire board, right? With the exception of dragons. So your dragons dodge the removal and you nail everything else. And what's really cool about this is you just got done using a recursion spell, right? So you've got a 5-drop instant or sorcery in the graveyard and you can just exile it to do 5 to the whole board. Super powerful. And the fact that Velomachus triggers when it attacks before the opponent even gets to declare blockers means you clear out the whole board and then you get through for damage. It can be absolutely silly, right? The 2 Crippling Fears are great as well. Choose a creature type. Creatures that aren't of the chosen type get -3/-3 until end of turn. So this isn't as good as Draconic Intervention, but it's a 5th and 6th copy of a sweeper. And it lets us really go to town against aggro. The 6 together against an aggro deck that's trying to be aggressive really early on is just enough to like take care of their whole board and really just put them in a position where they can't come back. So super cool. Now, the other crazy thing we do in this deck is we run Codie. Since we're never playing any of our creatures as actual creature spells, we don't need to worry about Codie's line of text that says you can't cast permanent spells. This is a 1/4 for 3 mana, and its other ability is pay 4, tap it, add 1 mana of each color, and then when you cast your next spell this turn, you exile cards from the top of your library until you exile an instant or sorcery with lesser mana value, and you just get to play that for free. So we can do some silly lines where, first of all, Codie comes out on turn 3, so then turn 4, you can slam your 4th land, tap this, make 5 mana. So first of all, it's ramp, right? And since all of our recursion spells only take 1 black mana, that means that all of our recursion spells can then be easily cast on turn 4 instead of turn 5 with a Codie. Not only that, when we cast the recursion spell, it's going to dig and it's going to find one of our smaller instants of sorceries and play it for free. And we have a ton of value spells in here, so it's absolutely worth it, and it does so much and adds so much value. So some of the things we can find with Codie are the early enablers that we're using to get the creatures into the graveyard and to just dig through our deck and draw a ton of cards. So at the beginning of the curve, we've got our 2-drops. We've got 4 Thrilling Discovery. This is 2 mana in Lorehold colors. You gain 2 life. You may discard 2 cards. If you do, draw 3 cards. And then we've got Cathartic Reunion, which is similar, and that's just as an additional cost of this spell, discard 2, draw 3. And then filling out the 2-drops is just 2 Thrill of Possibilities. I wanted to make sure we had 8 2-drop spells that we could reliably hit because this is an 80-card Yorion deck. I wanted to have 10, right? Normally, in a 60-card deck, we'd want 8. In this deck, since it's 80 cards, we wanted 10. So the extra 2 Thrill of Possibilities just helps us consistently make sure that we can hit a turn 2 play that's usually one of these spells. We can discard at least one of our recursion targets, and then we can dig and just find all the other pieces that we need, right? We've also got 2 Sejiri Shelters, and those are in the mana base specifically as something extra that we can hit with Velomachus, right? So we've got 2 of those and then 2 Song-Mad Treacheries. And what's great about both of those is they're modal lands, right? So if we get them early, we play them as the lands. But we get to increase the consistency of how often Velomachus is going to hit and the options we get when hitting because we have these in the deck and we can play them for free off Velomachus. So the chances of whiffing on Velomachus are really slim. And when we do get to play them off Velomachus, they're pretty powerful because Song-Mad Treachery will let us gain control of one of their creatures until end of turn. And what's important here is if we're getting it off of a Velomachus, it's triggering before they choose blockers. So we take their big flying blocker or whatever their best blocker would be away from them and make it so that they can't block with it. It's pretty crazy. And then the 2 copies of Sejiri Shelter kind of do something similar where before they declare blockers, we can then give our Velomachus or whatever other big reanimator target we have protection from whatever color we want. So whatever color the blockers are, so that it becomes unblockable. So the amount of stuff we could do here is nutty. In the 3-drop slot, we've got the 2 Codies, which are amazing. We've got 4 Seize the Spoils, because this is another way we can hit a turn 4 recursion spell, right? We play Seize the Spoils for 3 mana. We discard the thing we want to bring back with the recursion spells, and then we draw 2 cards and we make a treasure, which means if we hit our 4th land drop on turn 4, we have the treasure to generate the 5th mana. So we can play any of our recursion spells without having to worry about it. And then we've also got 3 more 3-drops here, just because mathematically we want to consistently try to hit a 3-drop on turn 3. So having about 9 in an 80 card deck is where we want to be at. So the 3 other copies that we have here are Igneous Inspiration. This can deal 3 damage to any target, so we can get rid of some early aggro or a problematic creature on the field early. If we get this later in the game, sometimes we're swinging for so much damage that the extra 3 being able to hit them in the head really matters, and sometimes it can close out a game. But what's really cool about this card in particular is the Learn ability. So what's often overlooked is Learn can also rummage. So we can either go to the sideboard and get a key card, or if it's early in the game and we still need to discard recursion targets, we can just choose to discard one of our big creatures and draw a card. So having that flexibility is amazing, right? We go to the sideboard and we've got 1 Academic Probation, because that's another thing that we can make one of their creatures not block, or give us an extra turn where they can't cast like an ultimatum or something like that. Good card. We've got Environmental Sciences, just in case we're kind of screwed on mana. Reduce the memory if we need to get rid of a problematic permanent. And what's great about this too is we have sweepers in the deck. So if we know we're going to sweep the board, we don't mind exiling, you know, their Embercleave or their Great Henge or whatever and giving them a 3/2 and then just sweeping the board on the next turn. Necrotic Fumes, because it's a way to exile a creature or planeswalker. So if we want to get rid of something like a Croxa and make sure it never comes back, we grab the Necrotic Fumes. Start from Scratch can destroy any artifact like Embercleave or Great Henge, etc. But it can also do 1 damage to anything. So if we just need to kill a problematic creature that's got 1 toughness, like a Lumimancer or something, we can just grab this and kill it and be done with it. You know, free spell, kill the thing, be done. And then we've also got Mascot Exhibition, because since we're drawing into so many cards, we're always hitting our land drop. It's pretty easy to get to 7, and we can grab this in the mid to late game and just go wide. And that supplemental support, in addition to our recursion targets, a lot of times really matters and can put in a lot of work. So really cool wish board. We're running Yorion. Yorion's actually really good in this deck. We would kind of want to be 80 cards anyway, because we dig through so many cards in this deck and draw so many cards that I worry about running out of cards, right? And I worry about running out of, in a 60 card deck, running out of enough recursion spells to keep going and enough recursion targets to keep going. So being able to increase the deck size to 80 is important. But also, Yorion is just really good in the deck as well. We can put Yorion in our hand, right? Discard it to one of our discard effects, and then we can bring it back with one of our recursion spells, and we can, like, flicker Burning-Rune Demon and search for 2 more creatures, or we can flicker the Codie and exile it until the end of turn, so that for that turn, we can actually play creatures. And then at the end of turn, Codie comes back in, which is a really cool use for it. But it's even cooler with some of our silver bullet targets. So let's go over that real quick. We've got 1 Massacre Worm. We can find this with Burning-Rune Demon and recur it with our recursion spells. If we need to wipe their board, if we're in a position where this is just going to give us a ton of value, it's a great find. We've also got Dream Trawler if we just need to grab a creature that we can protect against their removal and keep on the field, or if we just need to make sure we're gaining life. Dream Trawler's absolutely great. We've got 1 Returned Past Caller, and Returned Past Caller is super sweet because when it hits the board, we get to return an instant or sorcery card from our graveyard to our hand. So we could actually just take one of the recursion spells back into our hand and then replay it and get another creature. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. We've got 1 Terror of Mount Velus, because if we slam it onto the field when we're about to attack, all of our dudes getting double strike is just insane. It's also a dragon, so it dodges Draconic Intervention and Crippling Fear. Super good card. And then we've got 1 Koma, because Koma's probably the most powerful creature in the format. And against the right decks, just going wide with a Koma early is just too much, right? We've had decks just scoop to Koma on turn 4, and it's kind of crazy. The last card that I want to talk about is Marit. Now, Marit is super sweet to hit because Rune Demon is specifically worded in a way so that you can't keep repeating the Rune Demon, right? The Burning-Rune Demon. So you have to search for 2 cards that aren't named Burning-Rune Demon. That way you can't just keep searching. But we can grab a Marit. And whether we put it in the graveyard and recur it back with a spell, or get it into our hand and just discard it and do that later, either way, eventually we get to play the Marit and copy the Burning-Rune Demon and then just find 2 more things. Or if we want to, we can copy any of our other targets that aren't legendary, like Massacre Worm and Dream Trawler and Return Past Caller or Terra Mount Velus, and you could just put in so much work. So this deck seemed like a meme going into it, and it just kept winning. It had almost a 90% win rate, and it was just absolutely insane. So I'm not going to ramble any longer, and we're just going to jump right into the games. It doesn't really add any extra value if we're playing it on curve, but we'll keep this. If we hit it off a Codie, it's freaking awesome, right? We play a recursion spell, and then we hit first day of class, and whatever comes in with haste. It's not so good hitting it off of Velomachus, because you've already declared your attacks, so you don't really get the haste. Thrilling Discovery. We're going to put 2 demons in the yard. We're going to draw cards. Seems good. If he drops a creature we need to deal with, then we'll play the Pathway, and we'll Igneous Inspiration. If not, we're playing the Savai Triome and just passing. So next turn, we'll probably play Song-Mad Treachery as a land, and then Igneous Inspiration something. Unless we just don't need to, I guess. Alright. We'll foretell it. We will foretell it. You know what else would be really sick to hit off of Velomachus or a Codie? Tempted by the Auric. The only problem is we'd never be able to hardcast that spell. We'd have to just discard it if it was in our hand to Thrilling Discovery. Discard a card. How about we discard Song-Mad Treachery? Because we don't need that. We'll play this on black. He's tapped out. Do we want to counter or lifelink on our Burning-Rune Demon? Probably a counter. Take action. What are we going to find? We're going to find a Velomachus. And we're going to find a Returned Past Caller. Make a decision, boyo. Gave us the Returned Past Caller. You do realize we're playing a recursion deck. If you don't want us to play Velomachus, you should probably put it in our hand. What's great now is I don't think he can kill the Burning-Rune Demon and hold up mana for a counterspell. So if he kills the demon, we just keep going. We just keep going. We'll see what happens. Does he have Vanishing Verse? He could Vanishing Verse and hold up a counterspell. He's thinking real hard. Treacherous Blessing. Oh, man. Oh, man. That was a mistake. Guys, we are going off next turn. We are going off. We are absolutely going off. Alright, he could counter it. The problem is, if he counters it, he's not dealing with the Burning-Rune Demon. We're swinging in for 6 lifelink. So does he have the negate? He does have the negate. Okay. He takes 1. We'll swing in for 6 lifelink. We'll play this as a land. Pass the turn. Dude, not even worried. We've got Pass Caller and Return Upon the Tide. We play Pass Caller last, because we get more value off of it. Right? If he uses up his counter spells on the Return Upon the Tide and the Cauldron's Gift here, and then we finally get to resolve the returned Pass Caller, it's just gas. It's just gassed. Gas. Does he have another negate? Does not have another negate. Well, we're gonna do you. We're gonna grab Velomachus. It's time. Seize the spoils. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. I don't think we need Draconic Intervention. We'll draw 2. We'll hit for 5. I think I'm going to discard the Savai Triome. I want to keep the Inspiration and the Pass Caller. I think they could both be important. We'll end the turn there. He almost definitely has removal for Velomachus. It is what it is. That Treacherous Blessing is going to be a problem, though. It's going to whittle him away as he keeps trying to control us. Cauldron's Gift. Counterspell and go to 7. Okay. That's actually the best one for him to hit, because we only have 3 copies in the deck, and we've already used 2. So that's okay. That is okay. I think we're going to put Yorion in our hand. So I don't have things I want to discard to Cathartic Reunion. I only have the 1. What do you mean, oops? Well, let's see. Go black here. Probably going to counterspell our return Pass Caller. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That leaves us 2 mana for Cathartic Reunion. Let's see. He'll go down to 6. No, he's not going to. So we'll get back Unbreakable Bond. And then we're gonna Cathartic Reunion, discard Yorion and Marit, draw 3. We just need to keep applying pressure so that he is forced to continuously deal with what's on the board and can't slam a Doom Foretold. Or I guess he still could. But either way, we need to keep applying pressure so that he keeps triggering the Treacherous Blessing. And just run him out of life. That's the game plan. Let's thin out the deck here. We'll find another white since we have plenty of everything else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nine. Does he have another negate? We're about to find out. Nope. Does he have a Heartless Act? Because he can only remove the lifelink counter if he does. I think we might have just won, guys. I think we might have just won. We'll find Koma. And we'll find him scooping. Guys, we're just slamming. We got a 75% win rate with this. Guys, I don't know if you realize, but this deck is working. This deck is totally working. So we're going to discard what? Velomachus and a land, I guess. Because we're just going to draw another one. Seems fine. Let's go, Battlefield Raptor. Alright, he's going wide. I think he's playing Winota. Right. Makes sense. They're all non-humans. Filling up the field with non-humans. So we'll play this for black. We're just going to wipe next turn. So what do we want to do? Honestly, probably just seize the spoils. Make sure we have a 3-drop in there in case he drops something with 3 toughness, right? So we can exile it to Draconic Intervention. Oh, we've got another Draconic Intervention against aggro. Yeah, we're going to be fine. First one hits for 2 or 3. Second one can hit for 4. Oh no, because we'll be exiling the first Draconic Intervention. What is this deck? I don't even know what this is. But I guess we'll do this. We'll just do this, I guess. We only need to go for 2, right? Yeah. So we'll exile the Thrilling Discovery. We'll leave the 3-drop in there in case we need it later. So he sacks the Selfless Savior. Keeps one of his dudes alive. But it's fine because we have the other one. And we have Igneous Inspiration. We should be perfectly fine. Surprising that we didn't get a recursion spell yet. We should be able to dig into it with Thrilling Discovery though. Hey, there we go. There we go. I think we just do it. And hope that we hit Draconic Intervention or Crippling Fear. Thrilling Discovery, another Unbreakable. We don't have anything else in the grave. Oh, we have a Marit. But this is legendary, so that's not going to do much for us. Let's just grab Thrilling Discovery. We'll discard Seize the Spoils and Cathartic Reunion. Seems fine. And then we'll play a land. So he's going to make this a 4/4. We're going to need to exile Return Upon the Tide to Draconic Intervention. But that should be fine. That should be fine. He'll be completely out of gas, right? Let's do this first. Then we'll do this. Turn Upon the Tide. Go away. Be exiled. Give us 2 life from Thrilling Discovery. Looks fantastic. Still going wide, man. He is still going wide. We are going to, we'll just do this right now. We'll get Velomachus. We'll swing in. Hopefully we'll hit a Crippling Fear. No dice. Do we need the treasure or do we need to draw 2 cards? I think we need the treasure, to be honest. Discard you. Draw 2. Make a treasure. Hit for 6. Then we will play the pathway on red. And Igneous Inspiration. Killing the giant killer. So he can't tap down the Velomachus. And then we're actually just going to find something here. What do we want? What do we want? Probably Mascot Exhibition, honestly. Just go wide next turn. We've got plenty of mana, so I mean... Need 2 HP? Yeah, probably. We probably needed that. But I mean, we have everything, right? We don't have enough creatures, which is kind of weird. Usually that's the thing we have too much of. So you can hit me for 3 if you want to, but you're going to lose a creature. If we draw a creature next turn, we can discard it to Cathartic Reunion and then Cauldron's Gift it. And that might be better than playing Mascot Exhibition. Is he going to attack or is he going to wait? He should probably wait. Nope, we got an Unbreakable Bond. Well, we're going to swing first. That's a bummer. We've got nothing to hit other than a Marit. We're just going to decline it. We'll just play Mascot Exhibition. I think we're fine. I don't see how he could win at this point. But who knows? Anything's possible. Broodmoth. More land. More land. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're gonna go like this first. We're gonna discard you and you. Still no creatures. Alright. Crippling Fear. Song-Mad. Song-Mad is, I think, what we need here. Yep. We'll take you. Your guys don't come back. Your guys do not come back. Everything dies. Everything dies. You can have your Broodmoth. But that's it. That's it. That's all you get. Man, I wish we had another creature. Actually, you know what? Watch this move. Watch this freaking move. Reet. We'll make a Broodmoth. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, dude. We're up to 83% win rate. 83% win rate. We're going to keep this. It's not super good. We need to decide whether we want to play Codie or Seize the Spoils on turn 3. And we don't have a turn 2 play. I think what we want to do is play Codie. Because then we can copy Seize the Spoils. Actually, Seize the Spoils lets us play turn 4 Koma. Yeah, we're going to ignore Codie for now. We are going to just completely ignore Codie. Seize the Spoils. Discard Koma. Draw some cards. We've got a sweeper. Oh, yeah, I did see Loot's Best of 1 challenge. Dude, it's been... I completely forgot about that. Right after this game, Loot. Apologize. We're going to use Fabled Passage to thin out the deck a bit. We'll grab a second red to make sure we have it for Draconic Intervention. And then we're just going to play Unbreakable Bond and grab Koma. That's just... There we go. It's almost Tybalt's Trickery, except while having things we can do every single turn instead of just relying on the Trickery combo. It's pretty good. Casual turn 4 Koma. It's fine. It's fine. Dude, the best part is we made Codie work. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? He's digging, man. He's like, I need an answer to Koma. What does Jeskai has at Exiles? Maybe Banishing Light? But he's probably playing spells, right? He's not playing Yorion. He's definitely not playing Yorion. Good lord. Good lord. Play this on black. Play Codie. We'll swing in first for 9. What do we discard along with our Burning-Rune Demon? Igneous Inspiration or Draconic Intervention? I don't feel like he's going to get creatures out. So I feel like getting rid of the Draconic Intervention is fine. Yeah, we'll just do that. Yeah, he could have an ECD. I think he's digging for it. Guys, this deck is bananas. Scorching Dragonfire. If that creature or planeswalker would die this turn, exile it instead. Sure. Hold on. Loses indestructible. Loses indestructible. Loses. I don't think there's anything. Can we just give it indestructible twice? No, there's not anything we can do. That's okay. We've got 3/3/3s, and he's tapped out, so I mean... It was clever, though. It's definitely a clever play on his part. Now we're just going to do some shenanigans. Unbreakable Bond for a Burning-Rune Demon. And then we get to fetch something. Let's see what we hit. Thrilling Discovery for free. Sounds good. Sounds good. Take action. We'll go find a Velomachus. And a Marit. Seems fine. Thrilling Discovery. We'll put Velomachus and seize the spoils away. Draw 3. It's whatever. We'll go to combat first. We'll swing 9. He literally just needs a Doomscar, right? We'll just do that. He Doomscars, and then we just bring it all back. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. This deck might be low-key broken. I mean, it's not, right? There are definitely decks out there that are gonna... This is gonna have a really hard time against. But, good lord. Good lord. The thing about Velomachus, Fishko, is you really need to build around him. If you don't have good things to hit with his ability, and you don't have them in your deck consistently enough, it's kind of just not good enough. We keep this. We don't have the red, which sucks. Maybe we don't keep it. Mulligan. We'll keep this one. Put back an Igneous Inspiration. So we're going to Cathartic Reunion and put Koma away. Hopefully we draw into something else that we actually want to discard. Otherwise we're getting rid of the Igneous Inspiration. I mean, maybe Fishko. Oh, damn it. I did it again. I'm so stupid. I was supposed to best of 1. with loot on stream. Well, we'll make it quick. We'll go right into it. I'll tell you what. I'll give you 2 games to make up for it if you want them. So we'll lead with the Triome. If he's playing aggro, we'll play the Mountain. Actually, we'll probably play the Mountain no matter what. Wanted to say we want to leave up the chance of drawing into Draconic Intervention. And actually having the 2 red. But I don't think there's a reason to go double black, really. So, Cathartic Reunion. We don't need the Fabled Passage, to be honest. Looks good to me. Koma is in the yard. Alright, so we'll go Swamp. Do we want to learn? No. We're going to Foretell. So that we can bring back Koma next turn. You get Cap's MTGA account for free. We don't need a second white, right? But I guess it couldn't hurt. He's probably got a counterspell. But we gotta make him have it, right? We gotta make him use it. He just scoops. Alright. We're up to 87% win rate. We keep this. This looks pretty good. We need to draw into a recursion spell, but it's fine. It's completely fine. We'll lead with Savai Triome. Our first 2 turns are going to be a bust. But it shouldn't matter. Savai Triome. He's like, what are you doing with these Mardu Triomes? Appreciate you, Flynn. Appreciate it. Plays a Velomachus. It's probably fine. Alright, so here we go. We're off to the races now. Discard Velomachus. Draw a couple cards. Get a treasure. Does he have a counterspell? If not, we're off to the races. We'll see. Oh, you're going to do that. Well, now he needs to be really lucky and have a negate. Nope, no negate. We swing with Velomachus. We hit... Aww, we whiffed. We hit all things... that don't matter to us. Decline. We'll keep them in the deck. They could matter later. They could matter later. So, he's got to have spot removal for the Velomachus this turn, right? Binding. Binding, most likely. No, he's going to take a turn. And then he's going to Epiphany. Man, that's a bummer. I think he's still going to go over our head. But this is like I think the first game we've played that we didn't have a Cathartic Reunion or the new Lorehold version of Cathartic Reunion in hand to play on turn 2. So we were kind of behind. Kind of behind. Doobie doobie doop doop doop. Ah. We're gonna rummage away a terror. And then we're gonna swing with Velomachus. We are going to Cathartic Reunion. Discard Burning-Rune Demons. And let you block with the bird. Maybe we should have just Crippling Feared so that we got him to 10. Because then we could have killed him next turn by bringing back the terror and swinging with Double Strike. That might have been the right play. We shall see. Tournaments are always exciting. Guess we'll play you. Then we'll play Unbreakable Bond and see if he has the counter spell. He does have the counter spell. The swing will hit Unbreakable Bond anyway. We'll get the terror back. Smash for 10. Alright, he's at 5. He needs to kill both of these or he's dead. There's one. What's beautiful too is the Unbreakable Bond adds the lifelink counter. So we just... He can't Heartless Act it. It's protection against Heartless Act. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. We are pushing hard for that 1,000 subscriber mark, so please consider subscribing. Hit that button. There's a circle in the middle over there. Hit that. Subscribe. Tell all your friends to do it. Thank you. Also, give this video a like so more people can see it. If you'd like more PlayStation and console game coverage, we've got that down below. And if you'd like more Magic the Gathering coverage, there's more of that somewhere off over that way. Do all the things.